All right, man. Well, I wasn't ready. You didn't ask me if I was ready, and now we're recording.
I clearly did.
Definitely didn't. You can't prove it. It's not on recording. So
They get to see you at your most natural.
no, nobody wants to see me most natural. All right. All of that aside, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Designated Players Podcast. Episode 9. We're breaking into tier list podcasts, tier list videos, tier list whatever. We're breaking into that side of content creation. I'm excited. Connor has made a tier list of some sort, and he hasn't described to us anything about it outside of the fact that we are breaking into history, correct? It's not going to be just this year. It's history altogether.
I think that's what we agreed upon.
All right. So that's what we'll do. Yeah, well, also, I want to have a quick chat about Super League. I know it's dead by the time we're recording this, but just a reflection on what it could have been. Because as I'm watching this whole thing unfold, all I'm seeing is how disastrous this could have been for our league. So I'd love to have a quick chat about that. And then at the end, if we've got some time, I want to do a quick little recap of last week. The teams that have gone up, the players that have gone up, and the coaches who have gone up versus down for each of those three as well. And then that should do it for the episode, I think, unless somebody else has a question of the day or something. I got a question of the day. This is something I brought up in work, a very heated workplace lunchtime discussion. There are 2 shift keys on the keyboard, right and left. Which one do you most frequently use?
On the right.
Yeah,
on the right.
Well, because probably are we all righties?
Yeah.
No, you're a lefty?
Yeah, he hasn't grown up.
Oh,
He's still a child.
And you still use the right one the most.
So
I would have figured lefties use the left one the most.
So I went around work and asked multiple people, and I'm talking 10, 15 people. This was a very heated discussion. Which key do you use? And so many of them said the left key. I couldn't find one person that used the right key.
Savages.
And I was like, where were you? Where are you from? Who taught you this? And everybody thought I was crazy, but I'm glad that I have found 2 other people who make sense in the world. This might be the only thing we agree upon all day. So let's mark that. Let's mark that down and move into Scarf of the Week. I'll go first. I haven't gone first in a little bit. I'm breaking out the old tried and trusted Forward Madison FC scarf. It is a very nice one. I really love the color scheme. We've been through it. Got to go full Mingo at some point. If you haven't, I don't know what to tell you. You're missing out. Connor, what do you got?
In honor of the big win this last weekend. No, actually, when you're hearing this will not be this last weekend. This will be 2 weekends ago.
Week 1.
Yep, week 1. Brought out the Montreal Scotch.
Connor's on the hype train, everybody.
Big win, good win against Toronto. Rival win, 4-2, exciting game. Doesn't get much better than that.
Huge.
Maybe a clean sheet, but
still, I'll take that all day long.
Yeah, absolutely.
Adam, what you got?
So going along with Connor's theme, in honor of their win this weekend, or week 1 over Portland, combination of, got to get my hype trains in there, and they did it without my favorite player, Ali Adnan. It's my Vancouver Whitecap scarf.
That's nice. I like that. That's a good one.
Best part of this, it was $3. So,
yeah.
I'm never going to say no to a $3 scarf.
If you do, you need to reevaluate your priorities.
Correct. It's way nicer than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, even if a $3 scarf is not nice quality, it is still a worthwhile get. So, well done on the scarves. I got to get some new ones in. I will be looking to pick some of those up soon. Wherever you find $3 scarves, shoot me a link so I can get some.
You needed to wear a Toronto one, so we get to all the Canadian teams tonight.
Yeah, but I don't have a Toronto one because of 2017.
Because why?
Because of 2017.
Yeah. You get one with Chris Armas on it now.
I can Armistine. I think I put a pretty funny tweet out last week where after they lost 4-2, I just said to all the hashtag TFC live fans, the hashtag you're looking for is hashtag Armus out. I thought that was pretty clever. I don't know. I didn't get a lot of traction on it, but I thought it was pretty good. People need to up their comedic sense, obviously, to match ours. But on the Twitter note, we hit 100 followers today. The Prem Talk Pod has been our 100th follower. So here's to 100 more, and then 100 more after that, and then 100 more after that, and then 100 more after that, and then okay, no, I'm gonna stop that.
They're gonna unfollow us now.
So tier list, Connor, take it away.
Okay. So I haven't told you guys anything about it, how I set it up or anything. Obviously, like, I feel like I'm overplaying this a lot. It's literally just the setup of the tier list. There's really nothing too special about it. So I'm going to share my screen. So we figured we were just going to do one tier list together. So we'll all make an executive decision as a group, and we will order one tier list together rather than 3 different. Yes, Andrew.
I have a question. How many
Yes.
minutes of, I'm going to use the term deliberation, do we get? Because it is going to be a very formal and respectful deliberation, of course. And I will be very nice. But how many minutes do we get before we have to make a decision?
I think we could deliberate for as long as we really want, because we can cut it down.
Good. So I can yell at Adam all day long. That's what I like to hear. That's all I need.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. Oh, just kidding. I can't. Host disable participant sheets.
Adam, you knew this was coming. Why didn't we?
You are correct.
This is why we don't look like a professional podcast, bro. This is all on you. Everything the Minnesota fans said about us is your fault.
There you go.
All right, cool. Let me find it. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. Is this it? I think this might be it. All right. Can
Close
you
all your
guys see?
tabs, damn it.
Can you see? Yeah, you're right. I don't think I need these open.
Jalplata RSL.
Okay. So you guys can, do you only just see this little bar? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I only see the little bar.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's your
perfect.
audio JPEG. Why are you downloading? Oh, that's for the tier list. Okay.
Yeah. I'll close those two. All righty. So I'm going to reveal the tiers for you one by one. All right. So at the top, a cold, rainy night in Stoke, because we know that only the best can do it in a cold, rainy night at Stoke.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah. And I swear in tier 2, I did it way ahead of time. This is the B tier. Adam's fantasy hype train.
So for those of you who aren't watching the video, our quote of the week before we saw any of these tiers was, which one is the hype train tier? Adam, probably. So this is a really good coincidence. Before we move on, can we just take a note that Stoke City saved football? The amount of English teams that came out and said, yeah, we want to play against the best team, but we also want to have a cold rainy night in Stoke. Stoke City single-handedly saved football.
Yeah.
That's why they're at the top of the
Talk
tier
about
list.
We'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of the after the tier list. So
Okay, so then C is Everton, because
that's
mid-table
disrespectful.
mediocrity.
That's straight up disrespectful. You should be kicked off.
Damn.
That is, I would kick you off right now if I had the power. The disrespect is unreal, and I'm not here for it.
I would totally be interested to see where Everton have finished over the last 10 years. I bet majority of it has been between like 8th and 12th.
So all they had to do was finish 7th, because as long as the Big Six technically finished ahead of them, Everton was Premier League champions. I think that's how that
We're
works.
Champions League bound, baby.
Yeah, I think that's how that works.
Okay, so then the D tier, it's a Sunday league own goal. You know, it's funny at the moment, but at the end of the day, now you're losing. All right, so it's not the worst, but it's not great. And then in the bottom tier, tier F, we have marginally better than the European Super League.
Damn. Nice.
I love it.
Yep. And then, okay, so then the actual like lowest tier we have on here is for, I think we said Austin, Nashville, and Inter Miami. Yeah. because they haven't played long enough. So we're not going to count them. So I made a separate tier for them, and I called it "Still Making TikTok Dances" because they're too young.
Clever.
Yep. And then for team pictures, I tried to pick a picture of a former player for every team. And we can go through the people as we go through each team, and hopefully I can remember who it is.
Pick former players.
Yes.
Who's that Red Bull?
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me, sir. He's still under contract. Don't you dare. He's in fantasy. He's got a green circle next to his name. He is still a part of the team. The disrespect on this episode towards myself is ridiculous.
Just wait. There's more.
I demand compensation.
Okay. So let's just start off. Austin, there in the bottom. Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Believe that is David Accam.
David Accam.
Yep. Maybe I should have you guys guess. It might be hard to see it.
It's a little hard to see, but
can I zoom in?
Inter Miami was.
Where is Miami?
Right
here. Oh yeah. Let me see if I can zoom in.
Oh, is that Pellegrini?
Yeah, it's Pellegrini.
Yeah. I know exactly who it is. Awesome.
And then is that Josh Wolf, just the coach? You should have put
that's Matthew McConaughey.
I would say you should have put Kamal Miller there. He's like one of the only people they ever transferred out.
I didn't think about that.
Anyways, okay. So where we starting?
Yeah.
Pellegrini's still on Inter Miami. I don't know what you guys are talking about. We're allowed to have 12 VPs. There are no rules in this league.
I think he's just loaned out, right?
Yeah.
He's not actually gone.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's close enough. All right. So I guess we'll start one at a time. We'll start, first picture in the row, and then we'll go through each of them. So starting with Atlanta, if you can't tell. I don't know if the zoom in helped a little bit more.
Yeah.
It made it blurry, so.
Okay.
You're all right.
Maybe I'll zoom back out.
Is that Kenwin?
Yes. Kenwin Jones. Yeah. I thought about doing Carlos Carmona too, but.
You love Carmona. I don't know why.
I don't know. Probably because he was there for the first season. All right. So then let's discuss. Where does Atlanta fall in the tier list?
So immediately, right off the bat, you have to talk about the fact that they've only been around since 2017, correct?
Yes, correct.
So this is year 4 for them, and year 3 was 2020.
Not good.
And year 3 was 2020, not good. Now, there is a lot of good that comes with this club. You've got the Miguel Almiron transfer. You've got Josef Martinez. You've got MLS Cup. There's a lot of bad that comes with this team.
We got US Open Cup too.
All right, quiet you. Nobody cares about the unimportant trophies. It's all about supporter shield. We've been through this multiple times.
Listen, US Open Cup got us in CONCACAF Champions League for 2 years in a row.
It would be so MLS. I know we talk about this. It would be so MLS for you guys to win CONCACAF without actually earning the right to be there. That would be like the icing on the MLS cake.
Yeah, cherry right on top.
Barco, PT, inability to play without one player. They are not a perfect team in their history. That being said, they started off better than any team ever has as an expansion team. So they're definitely not anything lower than a C. And that's stretching it for me. I don't know about you, Alan.
No, I agree. I think the stadium also is a big plus. They by far sell out more than any other club in this league. I think the stuff they do with the Golden Spike is awesome. Seeing that fan interaction. Some of the coaching decisions that they've made are questionable.
I didn't even bring up that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's putting it kind of nicely, but my first thoughts were putting them in A just because of the way they kind of came into this league at 100 miles an hour, but I don't think they've been a perfect example in the first 4 years. So I'm kind of leaning toward B, which kind of feels weird to say.
I have no disagreements with that simply because I see this as a bell curve, right? As the nerd that we are, you see this as a bell curve. The majority should be at C. You should have a few in D, a few in B, and even fewer in F and A. I think there are too many teams that belong in A in terms of history and ability that they cannot be higher than a B.
Yeah.
Personally. Connor.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I really don't think I can make the argument for any team that's been around for less than 5 years to be in the A category, unless they came out and won like multiple MLS Cups within their first 5 years. But Atlanta has done a lot of great things and has pushed the league in the direction that we wanted it to go, like buying these young South American players, training them up, selling them on. I think they've really helped to shift that culture, and definitely a great thing, but just strictly based on longevity. And they have made some mistakes like the PT, and not that it's a mistake, but things haven't worked out. With PT, Frank de Boer last year in 2020 season, the one thing I will say about with Barco is I understand that he's definitely not panning out thus far, but the fact that they were able to land him with the hype that he had at the time, I feel like that was a really good showing of buying power from a Major League Soccer team that we previously hadn't seen before that.
Sure, that makes the jump from being a cautious buying league to a risk-taking league because people are more invested, right? Before Atlanta United, you had investors who would put money into it just so they can make a profit. Now, that profit margin would have been smaller, right? Let's go put money into an academy system and sell those players on, and you would have made money. But these guys are saying, let's go big and sell bigger. And it's been a step that has made a lot of really good movement for this league.
Yep.
But I don't think you can go higher than B.
Yeah, I was gonna say, with all that being said, I 100% agree that it should be in B. So I'm glad we're all in agreement for one thing, probably the only thing.
Who's next?
Next we have Montreal. I'm not sure you're gonna be able to see who that is.
CF Montreal, is that Quincy Amarikwa?
It is Quincy. Very good.
I'm doing all right. I think I've got everybody up to DC United simply because DC United's player doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that picture. Their head got chopped off.
I have a feeling I know who the DC United.
I think I know who it is too, but we'll get there when we get there. We'll get there when we get there.
Okay. Montreal. I don't know too much history off the top of my head. I don't know if anybody's looked up what they've won or anything like that.
Not really, because I didn't know if we were going to do this for history or just for the year, so I didn't get to prep much.
Well, we can look it up now.
Well, here's the thing. They moved up from USL into this league, right? So do we want to take into account, or I won't say USL, but they moved up into the league. They were a team before they moved into, I believe it might have been NASL before that. Do we want to take that into account in terms of their team, or do we want to just say when they started in 2012 and move on?
I mean, probably just from their time in MLS.
Okay.
I mean, in fairness, and Montreal fans have given us a lot of stick on the show in the past. We can't discredit their 4 Voyager Cup wins, which super important. It's like the Canadian Open Cup. But yeah, no, I think just their time in MLS.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so too.
So let's talk about the big one for them, right? So they've got their Canadian championships, which they have won in their small group. They've made it to a Champions League final. This is a team that has gone farther than the majority of any MLS team has ever gone. 2014-15, beat Red Bull, beat a team from El Salvador, moved on against Pachuca, beat Ala Julenense, who Atlanta are playing right now, and then lost to Club America. They lost 5-3 on aggregate. They gave them a hell of a fight. That's definitely something that needs to be kept in mind here when making this decision.
Oh, man, it's not easy, but right now my head's thinking somewhere between like a high C, low B.
Oh, okay. So hold up. I think that's pushing it a little bit.
Okay, what were you thinking?
I was thinking low C, high D.
Okay.
I was saying we can't just throw them an F because they're Montreal.
No, I wasn't even thinking F at all. I mean,
I know Adam was, so I need to jump in before he got there.
I was not. I'm thinking of all the players who, big name guys that have played for Montreal. Granted, they don't necessarily have the silverware, but they still have a reasonably attractive club for these guys go there for a reason. So you think of like their Piattis, their Drogbas, their Marco De Villos, their Domaduros, like
Victor Wanyama.
Yeah, like
so here's what I'm gonna say about that. They bring these players in, and I get that. That's really cool. You look at teams like Red Bull who are sending players to Red Bull. You look at teams like FC Dallas who are sending players to Bayern, which is their affiliate, right? They've got an affiliate with Bologna and have sent one player there in like 7 years and have only brought in like 2.
Yeah.
So to me, that right there will knock them down a little bit simply because of the fact that they have had such a potential to grow the game for this league by developing talent and sending it across or bringing it in and doing the same thing. And they've kind of dropped the ball a little bit.
I mean, their average back line for 2-3 seasons was like Rod Fanny and like other 50-year-olds. So young, promising guys isn't necessarily their forte.
But they have the ability to make that transition, and they haven't. Now, again, it's to me not like I said, that's not the biggest thing in the world. They have the Canadian Championship 2019. They've got the CONCACAF Champions League final under their belt. So they're not a completely devout team, right? Is that the right word? I don't think that's the right word.
I know.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
However, they were also the first team ever as an expansion team to make Champions League. Granted, they did it through the 2013 Canadian Championship, which they won. I am going to push to have them at a C, but if we were able to cut C in half and do like high C, low C, they'd be low C for me, because I think that Champions League pushes them into that category.
Yeah, I'm good with C.
Yeah, I'm good with C too, and we could always come back to this at the end and kind of move things around.
We need to find a good standard deviation to make this bell curve proper.
I agree. That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
So Chris Armstead, Chicago Fire.
Yep, spot on.
That's not a hard one.
Okay.
He was a coach in Lindenhurst.
Did not know that.
Yeah, Daria Castrogiovanni?
Yeah.
He coached her team.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I was like kind of hyped when he came in at first.
But then
he did what he had to do.
Alrighty, Chicago.
Chicago Fire.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not gonna go first on this one. I'm gonna let y'all talk.
Hold on. I don't know anything about any team prior to like 2017.
That's right. So Adam, you should start talking.
Yeah, I'm looking them up right now. I want to see what they've done.
I mean, Connor, they've done like kind of a lot.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking off the top of my head.
So yeah,
but more so in the past, right? Like towards the beginning of the league.
Yeah. So
Correct.
MLS. Yeah. So MLS Cup. In their first season? ?
No. Or did they do the double? Oh, that's right, because they were technically an expansion team.
Right.
They weren't an original, 10.
Yeah.
But they were an expansion team, and yes, they won the double of the in '98. They won
MLS Cup and
MLS
Open Cup.
and Open Cup.
Yeah.
And then they also won Open Cup in 2000.
Yep.
And they also made a final in 2003 while winning Supporters Shield.
And Open Cup.
And Open Cup.
So they
Correct.
almost won literally everything.
They almost did the trip. That's right. Because we talked about this last season when we were trying to figure out best teams, and 98.
Chicago.
98 Chicago was up there. Or was it 03 Chicago? I think it was 03 Chicago.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as a franchise, and you look at where the league was in 2003 compared to like an Atlanta that comes in, can spend the money it did to bring in these South American guys, like that 2003 Chicago team was, based on brought in for pennies compared to teams now, and to almost win a treble like 4 or 5 years out. So pressure's on Atlanta now. That's what I'm saying. They're winning everything this year.
So how much, I guess my question would be, how do you weigh the trophies that they've won in, let's say, like the late 1990s, early 2000s versus, let's say, like LA Galaxy's run in like the late 2000s, early 2010s? Is there a difference there? Do you weigh them the same? Do you weigh one more than the other?
There's a difference, but I think they're weighted the same, because while they did it with a lesser team against lesser players, LA Galaxy did it against lesser players with literally making their own rules. So I don't weight them any differently. I still think it's a fantastic achievement. And the only thing that is keeping me from making a decision right now is the fact that the last however many years they've been just awful.
They've been bad. So the last 5 seasons, they've finished, I think, 20th, 3rd place, 20th, 17th, and 22nd.
Yeah, and that 3rd place was a legitimate blip. Like that, it wasn't like everybody got better.
That was like Nikolic.
That was Nikolic coming in, nobody knowing how to defend him.
Yeah.
And then the next year, everybody figured it out. They also brought in Schweinsteiger and Dax, so they fixed their midfield.
Yeah.
I can't, because of their last 5 years, because of their last 10 years, I don't think I can put them in A.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. I was thinking
like I said,
B.
You need to do it all the way across, or at least all the way up through like a 10-year period of recent. Like when they did it, they did from 98 up to 03. And then where were they after that? I don't know. Like I don't think they ever did anything close. So I can't, just knowing that they fell off. So, and you think about it, right? Think about what happened in Chicago. You had everybody at Soldier Field. They try to move out to a non-Chicago based stadium. They lose 75% of their fans. Fans hate the board. They try to do a rebrand. They hate the rebrand. They have to fix the rebrand, which they haven't done yet. It's just been such a shambles of a club for the last, outside of that 1 year, 5 years, we'll pick that. And because of that, I think they lose their status as an A team. But again, if we were separating this into like halves, like pluses and minuses, they'd be a B+ team.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Do we want to order them within their tier?
Yeah, we can.
We can, sure.
Okay, so I think we're all in agreement. B tier, but ahead of Atlanta.
Ahead of Atlanta, correct. Yep, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think so too. Also, a quick question: do you see my Wikipedia screen right now? Or do you still see the tier list?
Just a tier list.
Okay, cool. Then I can look stuff up while we go through.
Yeah.
All right, on to the next one.
That
Who
is
is it?
Marvell Wynn at Chicago.
Very nice. I
Fastest man
see you
alive.
play some FIFA. Yeah.
Yep. I think this team automatically gets an F because they're owned by Stan Kroenke.
I don't know who that is.
He's the same man who owns Arsenal.
Oh,
European Super League.
European Super League. That,
I think
Yeah.
because he was one that was pushing for the Super League because Arsenal is currently in like 15th place and has no interest in improving. We just throw him in there. No, I'm kidding, obviously, but
I don't know if you're kidding because I don't awfully disagree.
So as an ownership standpoint, I kind of back up everything I said, but as a like just looking at Colorado as its own team, obviously, I mean, they've won an MLS Cup. They've been runners up once. They've been a Supporters Shield runner up once. Like they're like Arsenal. They're like right on the cusp of being like glory, but just fall short. And that 2010 team was like Quincy, Jeff Lorenowitz, and all them. So it was a special group that it took to win their only trophy.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
we got to talk about the Rocky Mountain Cup.
I mean,
You can't just discredit the Rocky Mountain Cup.
I think that's just like an inter squad scrimmage that they just hand a trophy out to each other.
I mean, they
Listen,
play
they're-
against.
they're
They play
five-time
against
champions.
I was about to
RSL.
say, and yet they don't win it every year.
They play against RSL and. Oh yeah, no, it's just RSL.
Yeah, it's literally just RSL, and RSL has won far more than they've lost.
That's correct.
So
I
think
they're on the uptick. They're
yeah.
doing a lot better. But yeah, outside of the 2010 season where they won MLS Cup. Here we go. This is a good one here. Columbus Crew. Nope, I'm looking for Colorado Rapids. So 25 seasons, 1 MLS Cup, 0 Supporter Shields, 0 US Open Cups, 0 Champions League.
So I think the fact that they've been in the league for 25 years and haven't rebranded. So yes, the logo's changed, but that's always going to happen. But they are still the Colorado Rapids, I think, is a big plus. Because
Man, I thought you were starting that out as a negative. I was about to scream. I'm like,
No.
no way do they change. Colorado FC United, baby.
Yeah, right. No, I love the Rapids like as a name. I like their logo. I like I forget what the name of their jerseys are that they released the other day, the white and green ones. But yeah, those are super nice. Because they were like throwbacks to their original colors. No, I think that's a big positive for them because you look at the other teams that founded the league that are no longer either with us or have since drastically rebranded, like Kansas City Wizards and the Dallas Burn and all those fun stuff.
The Metro Stars.
Yeah.
Now, here's the question, right? The way I kind of started going into this was if you are a team with an MLS Cup, you automatically cannot be in an F. But if you've been a team for 25 years and you only have 1 MLS Cup and nothing else,
I mean, it's better than having 0 MLS Cups.
well, sure, but is it enough?
I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
I know you couldn't. One of these days, I'm coming back to New York. We're doing something live, and I'm going to beat the crap out of you.
I'm sick that day.
Yeah.
Is it enough, right? Is it enough to get them into D tier?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I won't fight you on that. I'm, like I said, because, so what I really want to see is like an overall points, like an overall points table.
Yeah.
All-time regular season table. They're 9th all-time regular season after 25 years. And
Is
that
there any team that's been like that came in the 2010s that's ahead of them? Like is Seattle ahead of them?
no, but the
Oh,
only
okay.
the only one that is less than them is San Jose. So I will agree that they can go into D, but man, I would very, very strongly suggest that they are low D.
That's fine. We could always adjust it later to make a bell curve.
Yep.
All right.
Tim
This is an
Howard's
easy one.
replacement. Tim Howard's replacement at Columbus.
Yes. For a second, I thought you were talking about Tim Howard being at Columbus, and I got really confused.
Okay, so let's chat here. I almost want to. I don't want to ignore it, but I don't want to just have recency bias on the fact that they just became very, very good. As well as the whole save the crew movement, the whole, fight for a new stadium. They're opening a brand new stadium. All that stuff makes them very easy to be like, oh yeah, all this good stuff. They gotta be high. They came in. They're an original. They're an MLS original, and man, I just remember them being so subpar for a long time. What saves them is their early days, right? Well, I won't say early, but like the mid-table, right? So 2 MLS Cups, including the one in 2008 against my Red Bulls, 3 Supporter Shield, and a US Open Cup. So they've clearly done very well. But I just remember a time, and I think this is like my non-recency bias, I guess, for lack of a better term, like because I'm not trying to remember the future or like right now, I'm trying to remember the worst possible time that I remember watching them play. No, this team was good. I'm going to go back on a lot of what that was just saying. So, MLS Cup last year with 3 Supporter Shields and a US Open Cup, these guys were able to get results. I was just trying to find what year those came from. So here we are.
Yeah.
That's for. You've got Supporter Shields in 2004, 08. So they did the Shield Cup double. 09. So they did back-to-back Shields.
They almost did 3. Oh no, I'm sorry. They almost went 3 years with a trophy. That's what I meant to say.
Yes, because if they
lost the Open Cup final.
Yeah, they lost the Open Cup final. And then there's your Supporter Shield runners up there. So no, these guys, I think I need to rechange my brain a little bit. I was gonna talk about putting them kind of like in the C category, but it's quite clear that in the mid 2000s they were a team that nobody wanted to go up against. That was with Barro Charlotto. That was with Frankie Hejuk. That was with who was there? Was Harrison? I think Harrison Alpha might have still been there.
Chad Marshall.
Chad Marshall. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. So that period of time was very, very good for them.
Yeah, one of my favorite old school logos of all time.
Oh yeah, the 3 crew.
Yeah. I think I don't want to give them credit because it's kind of like the stuff with the Super League where they try to do something really dumb and then have kind of made up for it. So like I don't want to give them credit for now like rebuilding this team and obviously turning them into arguably the best team in the league because they almost moved them to Texas and destroyed everything. So I don't necessarily want to like applaud that, but at the same time, I kind of give them credit for listening to the fans, just like the Super League team owners did, and not going through with it because it would have been very easy for them to just be like, "Screw you guys, we're doing this."
Mhm.
I feel like I want to put them in B, just because of that mid kind of period that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, so I'm scrolling through here. There's this really good table about playoff success. There's, the all-time table. It's a really good little article here. 5 conference finals, 7 conference semifinals, out of 21 series played. So they've been in the conference semifinals a third of the time they've made the playoffs. With their 2 cups, made it to a third final and lost. So you guys can play. I would almost push. I don't think I'd almost push A, not yet, because I have a few teams in mind that I want to put in there that I don't think they break it just yet. So I'd be okay with high B, maybe right in between the 2 there.
Yeah, I don't know if I put them above Chicago or just behind them.
I'd put them just behind.
That's fine.
Okay, so if I'm going to guess this player, is that Eddie Johnson?
No.
Is it Freddie Adu?
It is Freddie Adu.
Yeah,
so I didn't think you'd be so straightforward as to pick the most obvious player.
Yeah.
And I remember Eddie Johnson on these 2, so.
Listen, I had to do it for the memes.
That's fine. That's cool.
All right, DC.
Go ahead, Connor. You go first.
Okay, well, obviously we know about their extremely dominant period at the beginning, I guess the beginning of the league, the late part of the 1900s. Yeah. Technically, that's not wrong. The late part of the 1990s, so like 96 through 99, where they won 3 of their 4 MLS Cups and 2 of their 4 Supporter Shields and won a US Open Cup. They also have won okay, so I don't think this was actually the CONCACAF Champions League when they won it.
It was the knockoff. It was like a spinoff.
Yeah, okay. They won the spin-off CONCACAF Champions League in 1998 and the Copa Interamericana, which isn't around anymore. Since 2013, they haven't won anything.
Correct.
So I guess we have to question. I think they were crazy dominant for a period, and even
this isn't a conversation.
Okay, so
DC United at the start of MLS
was gross.
They were in the finals for, I believe they were in the finals for our best team in the entire history of this league.
Yeah.
DC United are a cold rainy night in Stoke tier.
Yeah.
It's not a conversation. And you can go ahead and spin it. And the reason why I do it with Chicago, right, is because Chicago were on again, off again. DC United were consistently good for the first 7-8 years of this league. And then they came back and they had a little period in the middle too where they were good. And then Benny Ball took over
and they
we miss you, Benny Ball, but it's not a conversation. They are without a doubt a cold rainy night in Stoke tier. And I will die on that hill if I have to. They have the most single trophies of any team. After 25 seasons, they have 13 trophies. They are where'd it go? I'm going the wrong way. Where'd it go? I don't know where it went. I think they were second or third in most points ever. They're sixth. They're sixth with most points, with over 1,000. They are one of 6 teams with over 1,000 points in their history. They have been the focus. They were MLS in the beginning of the league. They were what we wanted to be. This isn't a conversation. cold rainy night in Stoke. This is our first team in there. I need to get my laptop charger because my computer's dying and Connor took 9 years to get on here. You guys can keep talking if you want. This one's over for me.
Yeah, I don't really have any arguments. I guess the only thing I could do, maybe just to fill in some time, would be to play devil's advocate against this and say, well, what was the league really looking like back in 1996, 1997? And the fact that they've really done nothing since 2013.
So you can play that card, my friend. That whole thing about the Super Americana or Super International tournament.
Right.
They were going up against some of the best teams in North America at that point, as well as some of the teams from Europe, and they won it. It was unreal. I'm trying to find the Leagues Cup. Copa Interamericana. So they played the best teams from, I'm sorry, not Europe. It was CONMEBOL. So South America, Central America, and North America. And they were beating teams like Independiente. Where is it? DC United. Vasco da Gama from Brazil, one of the best teams out of Brazil ever, beating them. You can play devil's advocate, but it doesn't work here, unfortunately.
I'm not actually trying to disagree.
No, I know.
think that they are
I'm just showing my DC United, and it hurts me. I don't like making DC United look good because nothing makes me happier than watching DC United at the bottom of the table. But to say that they're in their history, they're anything but a top tier team in the league is blasphemous, to use our good friend Stephen A's word.
No arguments here.
Great. Okay. This FC Dallas player, you said they're all former players, correct?
Except this one.
I was about to say this looks a little bit too much like a left winger label as a defender.
I had to do this one for Adam.
Man is the manager and president of this club.
What club?
FC Austin Dallas Super Team Texas FC.
Why is this team in conversation? Because isn't this their first year?
I think so.
I could have sworn that this is their first year.
If I said they used to be the Dallas Burn, does that help you?
Oh, Dallas Burn. Yes.
Yeah.
Dallas Burn were awful.
Yeah, they were.
4 seasons.
They had cool jerseys though with the horse on it.
They did. They really did, didn't they? All right. So this is an interesting one because this might be the first team we talk about that we focus more on what they've done outside of the game than what they've done in the league. The amount of pure transfers they've made to overseas clubs just to grow the game, to grow, like I said, if you look at the top, I'll say top 5 players under 23 right now, I'm pretty sure like 3 of them came from their academy.
Yeah.
Their ability to grow the game in America has been unreal. And that is something that needs to be taken into account here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they've not done anything in the league. I mean, losing a final of MLS Cup. They've won a Supporter Shield once. They've been close a few other times. They've won a few Open Cups. So it's not like they're, just chilling mid-table mediocrity, but then also selling off all these young kids. But yeah, I agree. I think they're more... I think their high points are more the way their club's set up and run versus what their actual results are on the field. And to put it in there, they also have this, going back to when they were the Burn as well, they also have the second most points in league history. Yeah. 1083. Behind one team, which we'll get to in a second. Like I said, this, like you said, it's not that they are the Red Bull of the West. Youth talent, sell it on, do well in the league, not so much turnover in postseason. Yeah. Or not so much result in postseason, right? If you look at their postseason success,
you're looking at them being 4 trophies or 3 trophies, excuse me, 1 MLS Cup final, 3 conference finals, 10 semifinals. These guys know how to make it in there. They've made it in a ridiculous amount of times. So 22 series played, 10 conference semifinals. So they know how to win in the first few legs as well. It's just a matter of that last step. And if you're not going to go out and buy those huge impact players and you're just going to develop them, it's fine. But it's the same boat the Red Bull are in, right? You're not going to get your success because other teams just have more talent. That being said, taking into account their regular season performance, their off the field success, I'm going to go high B in between Columbus and Chicago.
I don't know. I don't know if I can justify putting them ahead of Columbus.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Columbus has 2 cups and 3 supporter shields.
Yeah.
Dallas has 1 supporter shield. And I know that they're like sending out youngsters to Europe, but
they've been doing it for years.
Right, but I don't know if I could weigh that more than another cup plus 3. No, I wouldn't.
You're out of your mind.
I mean, Atlanta's got what this. Hold on, let me see what else.
Atlanta's a 1-team player. They've only got what they've got because of 1 player, and we've seen it. He goes down, they do nothing. You're not,
that was their old
Atlanta
team.
United there. You put Josef Martinez there.
No, that's not what I did.
Stop it.
Dallas is okay. So I think I don't know if this is what I'm looking at is taking into account the burn, but they have 3 trophies since 1997. So that means they've been in the league for 24 years or 23, I guess. Can't count this year yet. 23 years, and they have 3 trophies. Atlanta's been in the league for 3 years and has 2 already. And I understand you can make the argument about Dallas selling on the young players, but I think that the way Atlanta brings in the young South American players could be just as impactful of changing the league in the direction it's going.
I think it's 6 if you do, half a dozen if you don't, right? I think that they belong at the very least in the 3rd spot there. And this is me defending Dallas. You're really going to sit here and tell me that you're going to try and talk me out of this? I don't even know these guys exist 4 weeks out of the month.
We should have just had a special tier for them. I guess it's on Adam to decide.
Oh, my vote's for between Columbus and Atlanta.
Thank you.
All right, there it goes.
Not that hard.
Yeah.
Make everything so much more difficult than it needs to be.
Yep.
Thank you.
Before we move on, and we can edit this part out, do we want to do half of them tonight and then half of them next week? Because this may take us like till midnight.
No, I think we push and see if we can get it out.
We will just do it quicker.
Let's see how far we get. What's the halfway point? Minnesota?
I don't know. Maybe
like Orlando or whatever's before Orlando. I think
that's not Nashville.
There's definitely some quick ones in here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's see where we get to when we get to Orlando.
Okay, just because I gotta get her home.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's make this one a quick one then. Everybody agree on F?
Yeah.
FCC.
Yeah.
Who is that? I can't tell if that's Frankie or if that's your.
I'll give you a hint. His initials are KS.
KS. Kyle Smith?
No, first name's Kenny.
Nope.
Oh, come on. Used to play in Europe. I think played in Israel. Maybe Israel. I'm not sure. Played in Belgium.
Kenny Saif?
Yes, Kenny Saif.
Yeah.
I didn't. I'll be honest with you. I didn't watch enough of him to know that he was there. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I honestly
I would have
forgot
gone
about it until I saw
CMP
him.
on. I would have gone CMP
yeah.
on.
That would have been a good one.
Yes, F. Their
Yeah.
10 wins in
Go away.
however many seasons is low enough.
They're gonna double
Agreed.
it this year. I'm telling you.
El
I'm not saying
Dynamo
much.
Yeah.
is that? I hope you put Brian Ching for El Dynamo.
No.
I can't see.
Okay, so if I remember this correctly, it's Big Jeff.
A Big Jeff?
Yeah.
That's way too much dark hair for that to be Big Jeff.
Damn.
Stop it.
Wait,
Stop.
no. Wrong Big Jeff. Other Big Jeff.
There's only one Big Jeff, Connor. Come
Okay,
on.
sorry. Well,
Jeff Park?
little slightly smaller Jeff. It's Jeff Cameron.
Yeah.
No, I forgot he played there.
Didn't
We
even
did that
spell-
episode, and
We
I
did,
mentioned
I was just about
that.
to say.
I mentioned
He doesn't
that.
even spell Jeff the right way.
That's true. That's why he's Big Jeff with a G.
Yeah.
Houston Dynamo. This team screams C to me.
Yeah. Just
For 14 seasons, 640 points. Their points per season throws them up to 7th, excuse me. 7th in the entire league in terms of points per season. If you could guess who's in last.
FCC.
FCC, correct. They also have 2 MLS Cups in three other conference finals, 14 Series 1 out of 18 played. So they're very successful. I believe, actually, if we sort this, they're the single most successful club in terms of playoff series. So how many they have won versus how many they've lost. 77.78% of games that they play or series that they play in the playoffs, they have won. With 2 MLS Cups, probably should have been a bunch more if it wasn't for the super team that is LA Galaxy. Like I said, you're looking at a team with 2 second-place finishes and a third-place finish in the league. This team, but I don't want to keep throwing teams in B just because of their early season success, right? Because if you're looking at Houston, 15 seasons, 2 MLS Cups, and a U.S. Open Cup. But it almost screams to me, this is a C team. Somebody talk me out of it.
no, I'm
No.
going to see.
I'm in agreement.
Yeah, I mean, not to be like just looking at recency. They haven't finished higher than 10th in the last 5 years. Fun fact: their last 4 of their last 5 seasons, their top goal scorer has been Colombian. So it's been Mauro Manotas 3 years and Quintero 1, and then Eric Torres the other.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I have it in front of me. So Darwin led the team last year in goals and assists because he's a legend. With 7 goals. Granted, last year was silly, but like 7 goals was your top scorer. The year before that, Manotas hit 15, so like respectable. The year before that, he was unplayable and hit 25. Eric Torres had 14, and then the year before that, Manotas had 9. So you've 2 of your last 5 seasons, your top goal scorer hasn't hit double digits.
Sure. But are we not talking about how literally, we're going to use the term unplayable, how unplayable they were in that like 4 years span against LA?
Yeah.
Those guys were dumb.
Yeah.
Brad Davis was unreal. And I think it's harsh. I want them high C, and I want them to be like the first team If we're going to put them in C, I want them to be the first team in C.
Yeah.
No matter how the rest of this goes.
Right. So that's why I brought up the last 5 years. So I know, like, if we just looked at that series with the Galaxy, you'd put them like up toward A probably. But they're bad. Like last, I don't know how many years they're bad. So yeah, I'm good with high C.
High C.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to apologize to Brad Davis for disrespecting him, though.
It was nothing to do with Brad Davis.
It sounds a hell of a lot like it.
Oh,
Nope. I can't disrespect a team that has Darwin on it. They should be an A just because they made the decision to bring Darwin in.
Okay. Robbie
All
Keane, LA Galaxy.
oh, so you know who that is this time.
Shut up. This isn't a conversation. Put him above DC United and let's move on.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
This one they are the single greatest team in MLS history outside of the treble winning TFC team.
Yeah.
Which is
Well,
the only reason.
I mean, we would probably say the best franchise, right?
Correct. Yes.
Like
best
over
franchise.
the whole period of time.
Correct. They have literally almost 100 points more than the next team in their entire history. They've got 68% series wins with 5 championships, 4 finals, 4 conference finals. This team is stupid.
It helps when you can literally like rewrite the league rules whenever you want, but like, yeah,
Sure.
Definitely fair. But they do have the 5th and 6th most points ever tallied in the league history, as well as the most wins in 1998, most goals in a season in 1998 as well. Yeah, they were just dumb. Yes, it helps that they can rewrite the rules and do whatever they want, but they also pushed the league forward, right? If we're talking about how Atlanta did that and pushed our league forward a little bit, LA Galaxy did the same thing, whether it meant that they were going to go on a dynasty run because they had rules that only benefit them or whatever. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
LAFC. Is that Walker?
It is Walker. All right, so I'd make the argument that wherever we end up with the table, that they should be maybe, I think they should be right next to Atlanta. I don't know. We can make the argument one ahead, one behind. I think that those two should be like the same.
I don't know.
Why? What's the argument? Why not?
How long did it take them to beat LA Galaxy? How long did it take them before they performed in the playoffs?
They haven't been around that long.
It doesn't matter. Neither has Atlanta, right? But Atlanta have two in the last 4.
LAFC also has the points record.
You're putting LAFC up there simply because of Carlos Vela and Diego Rossi.
I mean, you could argue they probably had one of the most dominant regular seasons ever.
Correct. But what they do in the playoffs? What's that do for me?
I mean, we've had this discussion.
That's everybody's go-to. Everybody's go-to is what you do in the playoffs.
Or so if you're making that argument, are you admitting that MLS Cup is more valuable than the Supporters Shield?
No, but this is everybody's argument. So if everybody's going to use the argument against me, I'm using it against you.
So what was the reason they didn't beat the Galaxy those first couple times?
Stop it. I'm not. Why did I open this can of worms?
Had to get them in somehow.
Yes, you did.
Which, like, also in fairness is like me joking aside is kind of the reason they didn't beat him.
Hold, please. LAFC have finished first once in their 3 years, 4 years. When did LAFC join? 4 years.
Same as Atlanta.
No, they were a year after
Every
Atlanta.
year after Atlanta, I would say, yeah.
3 years,
I
I
know.
think.
So 3 years, 1 first place finish. But no cups and just one supporter shield?
Yeah.
Are we gonna put one supporter shield and 0 cups with 0 impact on the American game outside of buying big players and selling jerseys? Are we gonna put that right next to a Dallas team that has three cups or 3 titles and has grown the American youth game more than any other club in recent history outside of maybe Red Bull? And I wouldn't even compare the two anymore. Is that really what we're going to do?
I mean, if we're talking about growing the league, then they're doing essentially the same thing that Atlanta's doing. They bought young South American players to build up and sell on.
They bought Carlos Vela at age 32. What do you mean?
They also bought Diego Rossi. They bought Brian Rodriguez.
How did Brian Rodriguez pan out for you?
I'm pretty sure they made plenty of money off of him.
He's on loan and he's coming back. So he's not playing. So that hasn't done anything for you.
Not yet, but he's still got time.
Yeah, you Barco and Rodriguez can go off in the corner and go talk about how much time you guys got. Stop. This is a silly conversation. LAFC have had 3 years. They've had one good finish.
I like how you call it a good finish. It's a
Red
little bit more than
it's just a good finish in the playoffs, or it's just a good finish in the regular season.
You're taking your
now LAFC do it with Carlos
Red
Vela
Bull
and
anger
Diego
out on
Rossi, and
LAFC.
automatically it's the world's going mad. Stop it.
You're
It's a silly
taking
conversation.
you're taking your Red Bull anger out on LAFC.
Stop. No, this is a silly conversation. They belong between Montreal and Houston.
Adam, do you agree?
I'm trying to decide. So I agree with everything we just said. However, I would argue they've had a bigger impact on growing the game outside of the league than we've given them credit for, solely based on no. So solely based on the fact that if you look at who their owners are, they're all pretty well known, so they can, get publicized.
You got one person that most people can name off the top of their head. Everybody else is
Mia Hamm, Will Ferrell.
Sure, you can get Will Ferrell.
Yep.
If you walked out on the street in New York City and asked who owns LAFC,
They wouldn't even know who LAFC is.
Most people won't answer. But if you ask somebody who's a soccer watcher, they will know Will Ferrell because it's the same thing as Matthew McConaughey in Austin. They might know Mia Hamm. That's it. So what have they done to grow the game outside of this?
I don't know, because you've seen plenty on ESPN. So you've seen plenty on ESPN of like the 32-52 and that kind of stuff. So as far as
they have a good fan base.
Yeah, which
how does that grow the game outside of the country though?
No, outside of the league.
Okay, so how do you grow the game outside of the league, outside of the 3,500?
So I think
3,252 people that stand in that stand every day.
So I think non-soccer players or non-soccer fans that would see that and that atmosphere, because I would argue there aren't any other American sports that have that or anywhere close to that, would then maybe be interested, especially if they were in the California area, because there are multiple teams that they can go watch, and they don't know that San Jose doesn't do that.
So I've got a guy who lives in Georgia who went to an Atlanta game once and knows I'm a big Red Bull fan. He would send me messages all the time talking trash. I would ask him one question about somebody who isn't named Pity Martinez, Yosef, or I think at the time Miguel was still there. And he wouldn't know. He would just go because of the atmosphere. So is that growing the game, or is that just appealing to a short attention span American?
Both.
Yeah, probably a little bit of both.
Because how much are you growing the game if a person doesn't get invested in it?
So for every one of those guys, I would argue that there's probably someone who goes to an Atlanta game or LAFC game and then becomes a fan because they have a great time. They might not necessarily understand what's going on the field, but they're having a great time singing, dancing along in the supporter section, and then that leads to them getting more involved and growing a fan and love for the team that way.
You're buying into a hype that isn't there. You're buying into a flashy team with 2 or 3 good attackers and a back line that is, until Kenneth Vermeer got sold, one of the most abysmal back lines in the league.
Yeah.
So what you're buying into a hype of Flash.
So I agree. I'm putting them in C. So I'm putting them.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll put them in C. So
I just
between
wanted to
Houston
give
and
them
Montreal.
more credit than we were. Yeah, that's fine.
The second you said that they should be in B, I got upset because they shouldn't be.
I didn't say they should.
Not you. No, Connor. Because
I said that they should be next to Atlanta. So I think that maybe in the end, when we rearrange, we'll probably move Atlanta down.
Interesting.
But we'll talk about it later.
We will. Let's talk about Darwin and the Loons.
Oh, the Loons. There's definitely some.
Is there a tier above A, like Loons to the Moon tier?
You've been removed from that tier.
I'm trying to get back into it, damn it.
No, they won't let you back in.
This is a bang average C team, like near Montreal, like probably below Montreal. Awful first year, really good year 2. Year 3 was good as well. Year 4 was shortened and good only because Reynoso came in and saved the day. Year 5 has started off poorly. I think this is a bang average C team. They've done nothing in terms of cups or cups or championships or finals or whatever. You've got. I don't think this is up to date as much as I'd like it to be, but yeah, you're looking at a team that is the definition of a bang average C team. And I love them, but if you say that they're anything more than that, you're a homer.
Yeah,
I'm like somewhere between C and D.
I was thinking about high D, simply because of that first year, but I think their ability after the first year to make the correct changes to make the team better than it was is enough for me to say low C.
I put them behind Montreal.
Yep, I'm okay with that. Like I said, they made strides in the right direction to save themselves from being an F after that first year. Probably after their second and third year, they were in the D category. After that 4th year in the really good playoff run, they were a C team. And then, like I said, we'll see what happens this year. But there's nothing that you can tell me that convinces me otherwise. And I love my Loons, but short, sweet, and to the point. I don't think there's much to talk about there.
All right.
What is this team? The Revs. All right, hold on. I gotta make the screen bigger so I can see. Oh goodness. Is this a recent? Is that Juan Agudelo?
It is Juan Agudelo. Very
Goodness.
nice.
Man, I need to get a life. I haven't missed one yet. Revs are another interesting one, man. Original 10. 14 out of 24 in the playoffs in terms of seasons. So they made it in just over half.
I mean, they've won one.
New England have they've won one Open Cup, but they've made it to 4 MLS Cup finals, right? Is that the number? 4? Yeah. So
I'm seeing 5.
So they're
maybe I'm looking at it wrong.
They're the Buffalo Bills.
No, it is MLS. 5. It is 5. You're correct. It was 4 in a row, I think, at one point.
They're literally the Buffalo Bills of this league. No.
Somebody make a call and we'll argue it.
Oh man, it's tough because you've been an original team and you've never won a cup or a supporter shield.
Pardon me.
Is it harsh to say D?
I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, it's absolutely harsh to say D. 4 finals in a row. You can't put a team who made 4 finals in a row in.
I mean, you can.
Stop it.
I don't know. They've never won it though. They've never.
Doesn't matter. The fact that they're there in the first place 4 times in a row. You know how hard that is?
What years were they in the final 4 times in a row?
Hold on.
I think it was 3 times in a row.
Was it
also.
3 in a row?
Yeah.
Consecutive MLS Cup finals. 2003, 2004. 2005.
Okay.
I'm sorry, conference finals 03-04. It was final in 05, final in 06, and they had a final in 02 as well, I think.
I see 07 also. So I think they went
They
3
did.
in a row.
They made 07 as well. So 05, 06, 07, and 02. You can't put a team that has consecutively made, that team has made more final appearances in a row than the majority of the league has made ever. You can't put that in D. I'm okay with putting it as a high C, like in between Houston and LAFC, but you can't put that at a D. That's just wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't know. I mean,
They're just.
I understand that they made the finals a ton of times,
You're
but
not going to do this.
New England's been here since 1996, and they have the same amount of trophies as LAFC. And LAFC have a more meaningful trophy.
Stop.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's about winning, not necessarily getting close to winning. I'd be okay with C. I just don't know about that high in C.
Where are you thinking of putting them in C?
Above Minnesota.
Maybe between Montreal and Minnesota. Maybe no, actually, I think I'd maybe say
Between
Minnesota.
LA.
Sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe LA and Montreal.
Yeah.
I mean, evidently I don't have a choice here. So I just think you're all extremely, extremely harsh on a team that has done.
You literally said to put them between Houston and LA. We moved them 1 spot down.
Yeah, but you were ready to put them in D, bro. That's not good.
They
That's
haven't
like a
won
really-
anything.
It's a really bad. That's just a bad take. Like it's
They
a
haven't
bad.
won anything in
Stop it. It's a bad.
24
it's a
years in the
bad
league.
Take. It's just a bad take.
That's fine. All right. Next one.
Just a bad
Put them in there.
All right. This is NYCFC.
Oh, Josh Saunders, what a guy.
Yeah, Josh Saunders.
I mean, this is pretty
Oh,
clearly an F, right?
yeah, it's gotta be just for the player alone.
I'm just talking about, what is it, 7, 8 years without a stadium?
That's a D team to me.
Is it a D team?
You can't knock their the way they have played. Yes, they don't have a stadium, but I would almost put them underneath Minnesota.
Stop. No, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't, but I'd think about it.
It's just so hard for me to do it because of what they should be. So this is a team that should be fighting in and amongst the top of the table every single season, if not pushing towards more supporter shield and MLS Cups based on who their owners are, what they should be able to do. When they came into this league, they were basically promised the world, and their fans have gotten literally nothing.
No, I
Like, yeah, it's cool. You've been able to see David Villa, Andre Pirlo, Frank Lampard, guys like those play in person. Like, it's awesome. However, you don't have any of those players currently now. You don't have a stadium. Like, it's unbelievable that you've gone this long and you're 0% closer to finding an actual, like, you're playing at your rival stadium half the time.
Yeah,
Like, really?
it's a bad look. They have had very, very good regular season success.
Oh, absolutely.
A first place finish in the conference. 2 second places and a 4th. So they are getting their results.
Yeah, I mean,
They have
in
zero
some,
playoff ability.
Yes. And that's the
Yeah.
issue, is they are this good with an ownership that is a dumpster fire.
Mhm.
Like, they should be with the Atlantas and the LAFCs realistically.
That's if their owner cared about them, right?
Right.
so
Either
D,
my vote's below Colorado or above Cincinnati.
That is, you can't do that.
I can.
I think you're wrong. I think
That's
if
fine.
anything, it goes above Colorado. That's the lowest I'll go.
Okay. Fine.
yeah, I'm okay with that. All right,
Orlando City.
Orlando City.
Hold on, let me.
Sasha?
No, that's
No.
that's Julio Baptiste.
Yes, correct.
I can't actually.
Just look at his legs.
I can't
That's all
actually.
you need to
They're
see.
super small on my screen. I can't see who they are.
The second because I open it full screen and look close, and I'm like, oh my god, those quads.
I'm
Man's a
disappointed.
monster.
I'm disappointed it's not Yoshi.
I am also
Oh,
disappointed.
I didn't even
That's
think
really
about
cool.
Yoshi.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, you're right.
But I think that's really funny because I can guarantee you that ball that he's hitting right there in that picture is about to go into Rosie because that's the only thing he was ever good for in that team.
It exploded on impact.
Literally. This one goes for me below Colorado. I don't put them in F simply because of last year. And because
so then-
it's if you're looking at ratios, right? We're talking if you're going to talk about ratios for New England not winning a cup, which is still ridiculous. By the way, outside of the last couple of years where we have more teams to play, New England only finished in the bottom 10 of a 20-man league twice in 20 years. Don't come out with that garbage. But anyways, they have started to turn it around. And if we were doing this last year, they are in F.
Yeah.
But because they have that season under their belt, they are the next step they're the first step up from F. They're the last spot in D. You can't go 8 years without a playoff appearance. No matter how many, and it's not like you didn't try to it's not like you started off with an FCC roster and then kept it for 8 years. You brought players in, you tried your best, and you still couldn't get it.
Yeah.
So bottom D for me.
I agree.
I'm wondering why Minnesota is 2 teams higher than them then. Because you can make the same argument and say that they worked to improve their team, and they're now seeing that.
So they were able to do it much quicker.
Much quicker, and the fact that they've done it for long, they've had multiple years of success or relative success, right? Now, granted, if you want to move them higher, we'd move a lot of people around. I think New England would go higher too, but whatever. But yeah, no, I'd put them spot below Colorado there.
I think I mean, I agree with them being low. I just think that Minnesota is a little high, but we'll get into that later.
Stop. Dumb.
All right.
That's
Philly.
another. All right. So what I really should have done is bad take count and just write Connor's name and just tally every time. That's what I'm hearing right now. It's just a bunch of really bad takes.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, what's next?
Philly.
Can you scroll down?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, Rais, my buddy Rais.
Yeah, right.
What's up, buddy? Rais and Boli. What a guy. The single worst signing. Maybe in league history. That might go down as one of the worst signings in league history. I'm gonna get a lot of slack for this, I think. They're a mid-table C team. They've been in the league for 10 seasons. Made the playoffs 4 times.
Yeah, part of me
Yeah,
wants
I
because
don't.
we put Dallas in B because of what they've done outside the game in terms of
Sure.
transfers and stuff, and Philly's done that only really in the last year.
Sure.
So if we were doing this like next year or the year after, I'd probably move them to B.
I think that'd be a stretch, but I hear you. I hear
I'd put
you.
them. I don't know if I'd put them in B. I'd move them closer to Dallas. Is
Okay.
what I'm saying.
Okay.
So I'd probably put them between. I'd probably put them above Montreal. And that's
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too, but I totally see what you're saying because they do feel a lot like Dallas, and in terms of like results on the field, and then the academy, and obviously Dallas's academy has been doing it for longer, hence why they're valued a bit more.
They feel
But
more, they feel more like Red Bull than Dallas because Red Bull
yeah, I
don't
could see that.
Red Bull don't ship players out at the frequency that Dallas does.
I don't know. I think that
So
there has to be some consideration taken into the fact that Red Bull has a pipeline that they can kind of easier
Absolutely,
ship
but
players.
right, and that's kind of my point, right? They have that pipeline, they don't even use it,
so
or
I
they
would,
do, and they get 33%.
They ship players away. They don't ship players in.
I mean, this year we've got like 6 or 7 players that came in from that pipeline. Frankie, I count Frankie Amaya too. Because you're telling me that anybody from Salzburg was looking at MLS and said, "Get that guy over there so we can have him in 2 years."
Yeah.
That transfer was completely RBG driven.
So I'd argue Philly, and it'll be something I'll keep an eye on this season, is going to be more in that boat. So they had like 3 or 4 17-year-olds on their bench this past week.
Yeah.
I think 1 or 2 of them even got their debut. And the announcers were talking about how obviously Brandon Aronson departs, but like they have 4 or 5 guys that are possible, like maybe just as talented.
Ready to step up.
Yeah. Like they were talking, and this isn't me trying to hype him up or put like undue pressure on him. Not that he listens to this podcast, but supposedly Paxton Harrison is like better than his brother, which is scary.
No pressure. No pressure, Paxton.
Which is like terrifying.
Just add him. I'm just gonna clip this and at him. Be like, no pressure, my guy.
Yeah, some random guy said that you were better than your brother, even though I've never actually seen Paxton play.
I picked in my fantasy team thinking if you get minutes this week,
Nice.
let me down.
Alrighty. On to the next one.
Yeah.
I gotta look into this because I think I know who this is. Can you scroll down just a touch? Okay, so is it the front guy or the back guy?
The front guy.
This is, and I'm not sure, but after the conversation that we had last year, I want to say this is I'm not going to get this one. I want to say I was going to say it was going to be the center back from Man United they signed like for a season. I just don't know his name. And
I'll give you a hint. I don't know his name either.
So what are we doing this for? Who is
No, I know the player's name. I'm saying I don't know the Man United center back's name.
Oh. Well, I was gonna say behind him is Pamudaka.
Nope, it's the guy in front.
No, I know. I'm just saying, I know the guy.
We're trying to move this along, so that believe it or what?
Give me a hint.
He's on your favorite team.
That doesn't help me.
Can I just say it?
Is it Chris Duval?
No, it's not Chris Duval. Believe it or not, that's Aaron Long.
Oh, I knew that. I knew that. I totally knew that. It just he looks so like skinny compared to what he is now. But I knew he was. I forgot he was in that. He was in that Portland 2 team. That's disappointing.
Yeah.
If the picture was bigger, I would have been able to pick it out.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's tough with them being that small.
Yeah. But This one is another interesting one for me. So you got the 2015 World Cup, 2015 MLS Cup, the 2018 MLS Cup loss. You've got no supporter shields, which is interesting. And not even runners up. So they are just consistently like playoff team. Talent is there. 10 seasons, 1 MLS Cup, and 1. Oh, they also have the MLS back tournament.
True.
So
it's important.
throw another one in there. Diego Valeri, 88 assists and 233 appearances. So he's top 10 leaderboard. I almost, if I'm going to do this, I want to put them at the bottom of the B column and move Atlanta to the top of the C. That's how I would do this, personally.
Okay. Any reason why over Atlanta? Just longevity?
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels right to have Portland there. I think maybe for their growth of the game in the northwest part of the country, right? When they came in and they played against Seattle, like nobody knew about them. I remember when they started, they had this whole history, which I know we're not taking into account, but they had this whole history about what they did in their NASL days or what have you. And they brought it here, and they brought it loud, and they brought tradition. They brought things that I've never seen before. Fans singing the opening anthem in the first game that they ever played, the Logs. Their style of play was always very, very good too. They kept the ball, they moved the ball, they switched the field at a time when it was just go and I'll kick it. So Portland's got a special place for me. I might have a little bit of bias here, so I'm totally okay if you want to put them somewhere else. But I think, they've got one cup in 10, and they just always find a way to get it done, don't they? They're
Yes.
15th in points after 10 seasons, ahead of a lot of other teams, but their points per season, you put them up at rough with the same spot. So it's not a huge change, but
Yeah, I mean, I think everything you said about
oh wait, no, I lied.
Portland-
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're 6th in points per season. So they have good performances.
So I think almost everything you said about them, I feel like you could make a similar argument to Atlanta with soccer in the South, especially
Sure.
after
No,
Orlando came in and bombed.
Sure. Absolutely. I agree with that. Totally.
I know you said you didn't want to do it, but I would be tempted to either put them behind Atlanta at B or at the top of C.
Let me look at
And
some.
that's probably some Atlanta bias for me, and I know you have your Portland bias, so I guess it's kind of down to Adam. Does Atlanta beating them in the final take any of that into account?
No.
What about fantasy players? How many fantasy players have gotten you points for Portland versus?
Come on, Adam. Joseph Martinez and Miguel Almiron.
It's usually just Valeri is my Portland guy. No, I'd probably put him above Atlanta solely for longevity, and that's not really a knock on Atlanta.
I would be so now that I look at this, I'd be okay with putting them behind Houston, simply for playoff ability in terms of success, right? Just the one cup.
They have Timber Joey.
I mean, how many times has Portland gone far in the playoffs?
Far,
because that matters apparently.
All-time player success. Portland Timbers, 7 series played, one knockout round, 1 loss in the knockout round, 1 loss in the semis, 1 loss in the finals, 1 loss in the finals, and 1 win. So they are literally one of everything.
Yeah.
So I'd be okay putting them behind Houston.
That's fine.
So this player is still on the team.
Debatable.
It's not. It's the lawyer said so. I sound like such a loser. My lawyer said
He might be on the team, but he's certainly not with the team.
I'm going to be.
Is he
quiet.
still? Wait, hold on a second. Is he still playing games?
Yeah,
For the Saudi
yeah.
Arabian team.
So
Oh,
they're
yeah.
Altuve is gonna forfeit everything. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna be quiet for this one and chime in at the end.
Oh man, he's gonna yell at me if I say anything.
Do it.
If I don't put them in A, he's gonna yell at me.
I'm not going to yell. I'm gonna make a case.
Okay, hold on.
Unless you drop them in like D, then I'm obviously gonna yell.
I'm not gonna drop them in D.
I know you're not.
Give me 1 second, and I will.
Adam, go ahead. Make a
F
case.
tier. No, I'm kidding. It's so hard. I want Andrew to yell at me.
Okay, so I'm thinking B immediately. I'm trying to figure out where I would put them in B. My first thoughts are ahead of Dallas. I'm still thinking about between them and Columbus, because I think they have the same amount of supporter shields. Columbus has 2 cups. Obviously, Red Bull has their academy, which has been, huge for the league. I want to see how many times. I know Red Bull is like famous for losing in the conference final. Oh man, I'm right now. I'm open to discussion, but right now I think I'd put them between Columbus and Dallas. But I'm open to moving them up a little bit further.
It's so tough.
Yeah, it is tough.
So I don't remember which team we said this for, but for a team that's been around as long as Red Bull have, you haven't won MLS Cup. And I know Andrew's gonna tell me you guys were runner up in 2008. Cool. And I know I know New York Red Bull. This isn't the objective, so they're just a stepping stone for Red Bull Global to produce academies and then academy prospects and then move them on to Leipzig or Salzburg or whatever. But I feel like with the ownership group that you have, you should be bringing in more. Like the pipeline should work both ways more than it does. I know you guys brought in some striker from Celtic like today, who scored like 3 goals in his life. And I know he's young. I'm sure he fits the mold of what you guys are looking for in terms of a player. However, that was Matthias Jorgensen, and we saw how that worked out. You guys spent $2 million on a traffic cone because he didn't play for you. I'm good with putting them above Dallas as well, so I'm okay with where Connor put them. Andrew, go for it.
Here we go.
They're the last group in the A column, and here's why.
Oh, God.
20 out of 24 seasons, they've made the playoffs. 11 seasons in a row, they've made the playoffs.
Cool.
In a span of 2013 to 2018, they were the best team 3 times. In 2018, they were a single win away twice from being champions of something outside of Supporter Shield. That team was considered by us like a quarterfinalist or a semifinalist in our greatest team of the decade, and lost to LA Galaxy, which nobody was going to beat except for the treble winning TFC. So
do you count?
I'm not done.
I'm just asking a question.
Quiet down. Second most points ever in a season. There's a number here that I'm looking for. So there it is. 14 conference semifinals in 25 years. 4 conference finals and a final. The all-time table has them in 3rd and like 2 wins behind FC Dallas to be the 2nd leading team. 3 first-place finishes, 3 third-place finishes, and a 4th-place finish in the league. They've had multiple Golden Boot winners, BWP twice. They've had Sasha Question, 20 assists. That's the 2nd most ever. Multiple goalkeeper shutout records with Robles. And I believe is Tim Howard on there? Probably. This team for a long time outside of 2009 were a top 5 team in the league, and they've done it for so long. Now you can talk about any other team in there. Dallas, Columbus, Chicago. They've all had periods where they were awful. And finally, my final point, you look at the USMNT roster. How often do you see a player that came out of the Red Bull Academy? You want to talk about growing the game? Dallas does it from the West Coast. It's us in the East Coast. And we also have been way more successful than that. Bottom of the A bracket.
Can you be genuine question? I'm not trying to.
Sure.
Can you be in an A without winning MLS Cup?
Yes.
Okay. So their playoff consecutive run means literally nothing to me. Do you count Arsenal's however many years of making Champions League by qualifying finishing in 4th as?
You're asking an Everton fan if qualifying for Champions League is impressive?
No, I'm asking you if finishing 4th for 20 seasons in a row, but never actually like doing anything, getting knocked out of the group stage is impressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're asking the wrong person for that, my guy. I'm sorry.
That's fair. Because to me, 4th place is not you get it like a trophy.
Well, when you get dirty Russian oil money to buy whatever you want, just what happens.
Who owns you guys?
Listen, we just got there, all right? I'm gonna be just like you in a little bit, but
Cool.
For now, I'm taking what I got.
I meant Red Bull. Because they have like 7 teams worldwide.
The very lowest I am willing to go is the very top of B.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
That is the very all right. That's the lowest, and I would still push to see them at the bottom of A when we reorganize. But for now, I will put them at top of B. But I want everybody to understand that I'm doing it not happily.
Fine.
I want it noted.
You don't have to be happy.
Alrighty.
This is RSL.
Yeah,
I'm cheating on this, but that's Shao Plata. I saw your note.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, what is that? That's Shao Plata.
D.
I would say this screams D team to me.
Yeah.
They do have an MLS Cup.
They do, and they were runner-up like a few years after they won it.
You want to put them low C?
No.
How do we
Beckerman for the long time they were like repeatedly very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not saying I disagree with you saying D, but can you explain why you would put Montreal and Minnesota higher?
He's so hung up on this. Montreal made the Champions League. And oh, you know what? No, we have to take this into account. Real Salt Lake were Champions League finalists as well.
True.
2010.
Yeah.
That right there. If we're gonna put Montreal in C simply because of that, RSL need to go there too. I don't care if they're the bottom.
That's what I'm saying.
That's fine.
I don't care if they're the bottom team, but they have to be there.
That's fine.
So
and I know Minnesota has turned things around, and obviously RSL have had a much larger time to do it. But RSL do have a MLS Cup, and Minnesota, the closest thing they have is a conference final.
Sure.
Yeah, and part of this is recency, but like RSL doesn't do anything. Like
That
no
is-
one,
Yeah,
like,
I
no
get
one
that.
looks at RSL
They're-
the last.
RSL haven't had to do anything because they've had every player stay there for 9 years.
That's what I mean. Like
They haven't
no.
had to do anything.
So yeah, so I would argue if you've had the same core group of guys for 9 years, you should like see progression and make a run at least 1 year. Like RSL just
they won in 2009 and then they went runners up in 2013.
that's
Then everything
14
started going
years
downhill.
ago.
Then everything started going
12
down.
years ago. I can't math.
I know you can't. And that's
It's 12 years ago. Cool.
yeah, so they had all their players there. Then they started go down decline. Players started leaving. They started bringing in a different style of play. You're putting players like João Plata and
Yuri Movsisian.
no, not Yuri Movsisian, which first of all, he's another one. But João Plata was on one side. Who was on the other? He went to Tigres. Bofo Salcedo.
Yep.
You had those two players playing on the wings with Kyle Beckerman and Yuri Movsisian. That team didn't work, and it wasn't their fault.
True.
It's not like they didn't try. They were just trying to transition into a different style of play. That's the only reason they dropped off.
Yeah.
The team didn't work because they tried to put old, immobile center players surrounded by these tricky players, and it just didn't work. So RSL need to go bottom C.
Fine.
But I would just keep in mind that they were a good team at one point, and not to sully their name.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would never talk bad about anybody.
No.
You're just lucky Inter Miami's not here.
It feels weird to put them that much lower than Philly. And I know we're valuing Philly's
No, it doesn't.
academy a bit.
It doesn't feel weird.
But what has Philly done? They got the Supporters Shield last season. That was their first trophy.
We have Philly 2 spots higher than them. What do you
Yeah.
mean that much lower?
Well, why? Like, hold on. I just like. I feel like Philly's made the playoffs 5 of the 10 seasons they've been here. RSL has made the playoffs. Hold on, I had it up before. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the years they've been here.
10 out of how
And
many?
they've won it, and they were runner-up another time.
RSL 10 out of 15.
Yeah, versus 5 out of 10 for Philly. And Philly's never made it past the quarterfinal, I don't think.
Where has
And if you look at the all-time points listing, Philly obviously has less seasons played, but in terms of points per game, they have a 1.277. Real Salt Lake is a 1.384.
Yeah, so put them just ahead of Philly.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I mean,
I feel like you should be able to figure out who this is. It's pretty
Yeah.
easy.
Tomadinho, yeah.
Yeah.
SKC Wiz.
Nope. Not SKC for this one.
Is that the San Jose? Is that San Jose?
Yeah, it's the Quakes.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, it's
I
gotta be
couldn't see. I had a small screen and I just kind of looked.
I had to put a different player for SKC.
I mean, it's A, right? Like they have Daniel Vega and Wando.
Go away. San Jose are a low B.
Yeah.
San Jose are a low B. They have 2 MLS Cup championships, made the conference semis 5 times in 13 series. So granted, they haven't had the best run of time. However, they did have a rebrand in the middle of 2000. So they had to rebuild everything. 901 points, or 10th in most points. Points per season, you're looking at mid-table points per season. It's nothing impressive, but the fact that they were so good so early, right? You can't knock them out. I think they're a low B. Where are they? Yeah, so 2 supporter shields and 2 MLS Cups in 23 seasons. That's a low B for me. Now, is it before Atlanta or is it after Atlanta? That's the question.
Probably before.
I'm thinking after.
Yeah.
Due to recency.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I would be talked out of it if Connor wants to talk somebody out of it.
I don't know. B. If we really are looking to try to do a bell curve, we're putting a lot of teams in B.
Well, I think Atlanta needs to drop it. Whatever.
That's
Right,
I mean that's what I was saying before.
Wait, Atlanta needs to drop. Red Bull need to go high.
Anyway, I don't necessarily disagree. I think, yeah, I was probably between. I think low B makes sense. I mean, 2 cups, 2 shields.
Put them under Atlanta for now. 2 cups.
Okay,
Put them above. Put them. Yeah, put them. Yeah, we can move it. Put them above.
We'll move it.
Yeah, because we got to remember this San Jose team was. They may not have been the best, but they might have been the most fun team to watch in the early 2010s, with Steven Lenhart, Chris Wando, and then like 5 games where they scored 95th minute winners. That team was the most fun I've ever watched. Alan Gordon, Lenhart, and Wando. Goonies never say die. I loved watching that team. So just pure entertainment value there too.
All right. Next up, the Sounders.
That is.
Is it weird if I want to say A?
Is that, first of all, we got to guess.
We have to get the player.
Oh,
Is that Oba?
yeah.
It is
Okay, I was gonna say that or Zakawani. It was too small for me to see.
Obafemi Martins.
Yeah, is it weird to say A? Or like top?
No,
I feel like he'll find us because we put Red Bull there. But
no,
I also
no.
was
I don't
thinking
think
A.
it's weird to say A at all. That's the reason I was okay with the Red Bull being B, because I thought Seattle needed to be A.
So
Yeah,
Seattle's never
that's what I was
finished
thinking too.
below 7th overall. They've never finished below 4th in the Western Conference.
Oh yeah, no, like you said, when you talk about teams in A, we talk about dynasty, right? We talk about dominance over a long period of time. LA, DC in early years, Seattle now. And Seattle basically since they started 11 years, they've never missed the playoffs and they have always made it past, I think, the first round. They never did not make past first round.
Yep. Quarterfinals every year at least.
Yeah, I like I said, even when you thought they were down and out, they go out, they find a Ladero, he crawls up the table and then puts them in there. I have no problem putting them below DC for A.
Did they win?
They have 1 MLS Cup in 3.
No, I know.
No, they have 2, don't they?
Or is it 1 in 4? I thought it was.
They have-
Oh no, it
they
is.
have-
It's 2. You're right. It's 2. You're right.
They have 1 supporter shield.
And they have 4 US Open Cups.
I think 3 in a row.
Yeah, it was something dumb like that.
I think their
Mhm.
I think their first 3 seasons they won it.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
2009, 10, 11, and then 14.
Yeah.
They
think
won the
if you
double.
give-
So they won the double in 14. So Supporter Shield and Open Cup.
I think if you give them a few more years and they continue to trend the way that they have,
They can compete against LA for that top spot.
yeah, I was gonna say they probably jump DC and they're probably challenging LA.
So the two teams that stand out when I think of like all-time MLS are that Galaxy team with Donovan, Keane, Beckham,
Mhm.
and the front 2 of Dempsey and Martins. Like there's for whatever reason, but like that's a disgusting front 2.
Plus, you had players around them that could support, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I have no problem putting them there. I agree. Like I said, 12 seasons, never missed the playoffs, and 7 titles. No question.
Yeah.
No question. This is SKC.
SKC. Their former player, because he's now on an A tier team.
Gianluca Busio.
Yeah, Gianluca Busio.
That's funny.
Yep.
See, I thought it was, but it took me a while to put everything together. This is high B for me. 4 U.S. Open Cups, 2 MLS Cups, 1 Supporter Shield. Same numbers as Seattle, double the time to do it.
That's fine.
We're also looking at, there it is, a first place, a bunch of second places, a few thirds, and a fourth in terms of regular season success in the Supporter Shield standings. Regular season table, you're looking at 4th most points ever, right behind Red Bull. Points per season, you're looking a little bit lower. However, points per game, yeah, you're right back up in that same area. No, this team is good, but it took them a little bit longer to get good. When was their? Yeah, so they had. It took them till 2004 to get to their first final. I'm sorry, 2000 to get to their first final and win. So 5 seasons, not too bad. Then 2004 was their second one. Connor, you're off the.
Yeah, I hit the wrong button. I thought I was on a different page.
You're the worst. I hope we didn't lose you. And then they kind of went on hiatus for a little bit until 2013 when they won it again. So there was a period in between 2004, 2013 that was kind of like, what are you doing, right? They did the double Shield and Cup in 2000. Runners up in Shield and Cup in 2004. And then after that, runners up in Supporters Shield 2012 and 13 when they won MLS Cup. And then that kind of just was the end of their really good run. So I am okay with high B right underneath Red Bull.
Yep, that's exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to be quiet for Toronto and Giovinco here because I'm going to get yelled at for what I'm about to say. Connor, go first.
Okay, give me 1 minute.
Adam, go first. I don't have time for this.
I'm going to put them right above Dallas.
Ooh. Okay.
So,
Why?
Yes, they had the trouble. However, Canadian Championship, I kind of put an asterisk on because, like,
you're awful.
I'm sorry, there's only 3 teams in MLS that can win that. So, like, take it with a grain of salt. 1 MLS Cup, 1 Supporter Shield. I don't feel like I'm not going to put them in A. I understand that treble winning team was one of the best teams MLS has ever seen as far as like a single season. However, I think all the teams we have ahead of them are more impressive as like a longevity franchise kind of thing. So that's
this is hard because I mean, according to us, they've had the greatest team in history, and they have won 7 Canadian championships, which I'm not going to say they don't count, but they don't carry the same weight as some of the other ones because of the competition. Not to say it's not impressive, still 7 championships is good. They also went the first 8 seasons of their franchise not even making the playoffs.
Thank you.
Which is it's pretty bad. It's hard because I feel like you gotta weigh the treble season kind of heavy because I mean it's the best season in MLS history.
Yeah. So Andrew, I'm gonna guess put them somewhere like mid C.
No, I wasn't that low. I thought you guys were going to go higher.
Oh no.
They were atrocious in the beginning.
Well, the
seems like.
reason I thought Connor would have forgotten because Connor wasn't around when Toronto FC were the laughing stock of the league.
Yeah, they were bad.
They were literally. You looked at them and you were like, "Let's go. We're gonna empty the bench. We are gonna drop 4. It is gonna be one of those teams." They finished dead last twice in their first 2 seasons. They were FCC Minnesota bad in their first year or 2.
Yeah.
Like they were that bad. Now 2012 they were also bad. They didn't get good until they went in and their owner bought Giovinco Josie Bradley. That's when they started to turn everything around. That being said, you do have to weigh that treble season, and literally they're past 5 seasons now, right outside of 2018 when they had that little snafu. Really, they've only made 5 playoff appearances in 13 years.
Yeah,
like
pretty bad.
The recency bias aside, this team was not good.
No.
They were in the but we have to also take into account the fact that they were runners up in the Champions League too. And the Campeones Cup, which evidently is a thing.
Yeah, that's why I put them
like the recency has me go right about maybe above Columbus, almost above Chicago.
Nah, I can't put them above Columbus.
I can put them above Columbus.
I don't know if I could put them above Columbus either.
Why not? I get how bad they were.
Yeah, that's part of it. I think also the honors that Columbus has.
I get it, but you can't not take into account their just sheer dominance in the 2016 to 20, where
I mean we also put Orlando in D because they didn't make the playoffs for 8 years.
Okay, that's a fair point. Orlando didn't win the treble.
No.
Orlando runners up in Champions Cup.
But that's also why we're not considering them in D.
Correct. I would go for above Columbus. That is where I'd put them.
I think honestly the fact that you mentioned the playoff part where they've missed the playoffs 9 out of the 15 years they've been here?
13 years they've been in the league.
13. No, then they must not have missed
8 out of 13.
1,
3, 4,
2,
5,
3,
6,
4,
7,
5, 6, 7, 8,
9.
9.
They've missed 9 times out of 13 years.
1,
they've been in there.
3, 4.
I can't
5.
count out of 14.
Yeah.
Numbers are hard.
This is looking at these teams, it really doesn't seem like it's super difficult for teams to at least make the playoffs 50% of the time. Like it feels pretty generous to make the playoffs. And Toronto have missed it in 9 out of the 14 seasons.
Yep. I
totally get the recency bias. They've absolutely turned it around, and that's something we gave Minnesota credit for. So it's something we have to give Toronto credit for.
Yeah.
And for that season. But just like the things that are weighing them down are like pretty heavy. Like you could argue you take away the treble season, and obviously it's a big thing to take away, but if you take away the treble season,
they're bad.
We're probably talking about D tier.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I still feel like they would be between Columbus and Dallas, and I'm not sure if that might be considered generous to some people.
That's fine.
I'm okay with that. Like I said, I think I weigh heavy on the treble simply because the next year they went and finished in the runners of the Champions League.
Yeah,
that's big. So finally, Alphonso Davies and Vancouver. Damn, man, is this an F?
I was gonna say top, like right above Cincinnati or like bottom of D.
Let me look at.
And like I'm literally wearing their scarf right now, and I'm saying that like they're bad.
Well, they listen, Adam. They have a Voyagers Cup win
and some Cascadia Cups too.
Do they have Cascadia Cups?
Yeah,
they got 3 of them.
Yeah,
I don't even know what that is.
That's Portland, Vancouver, and
Seattle.
Seattle. Yep.
Yeah.
I can't believe they've won 3 of those.
Yeah, wild.
Probably their most impressive stat.
Yeah. Well, I think Seattle and Portland, were more focused on like actual competitions.
That's fair.
So they probably played like their academy kids, and Vancouver played their full strength team. I say low D just literally only because they produced Alphonso Davies. Like if they didn't have him, I would say straight up F.
Four playoff appearances since 2011.
Yeah.
3,
Yeah,
6.
they've made it 4 out of 10 years.
4 out of 10 years. 2 Champions League appearances. And made the semifinals of one of them.
That's wild.
Dead last in conference twice. The only reason they didn't finish dead last in 2019 is because of our good friends FCC.
Mm-hmm.
No finish higher than 9th in the league.
Yeah. I'm good with
I'm sorry, they had 1 3rd place finish in 2015, which I don't exactly remember nor know how that happened.
I don't know.
Oh, was that the Camilo year?
It might have been.
It might have been the Camilo year.
Yeah, I'm good with like top of F.
I'm okay with top of F as well.
Yeah.
That was not the Camilo year. That was Eric Hurtado, Darren Maddox, Kikuta Mane, Russell Tybert, Matias Laba,
Yeah.
Mauro Rosales, Gershon Kofi.
Yep.
Tim Parker was on that team.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam Adekube, he went to Wigan or something. That was like a really big transfer because he was their first homegrown that they transferred out.
Yeah.
Jordan Harvey was there, Kendall Waston was there, and David Ousted was there. Paulo Torniaghi.
Yeah.
It was a whole mess of a team. I don't know how they finished 3rd in the league.
I don't know.
It's unreal. That's kind of crazy. They scraped out a bunch of wins. They actually handled a bunch of teams too. They beat Sounders 3-0 in Seattle.
That's it. Seattle down to the B tier.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So we're rearranging this because I think we need to drop some teams from B.
From B.
Yeah. And I think ultimately we may have to drop some teams from C then too.
I'd move the last 2 from each. So I'd move Atlanta. Yeah.
Are we really not going to put Red Bull at the bottom of the A?
Fine.
Or,
I don't know.
argue with me if you can. It's not like they just started getting good.
No, I know. I think where they're at is probably fair.
Yeah, I'd still stick with them at top of B.
Man, if we're going to drop anybody into C, you can't drop San Jose. You got to drop Dallas.
I mean, I'm fine with that too.
Fine, go for it.
You got to drop Dallas.
Yep.
And you got to drop Atlanta. You can put them in front. That's fine. And that maybe drop 1
Drop Minnesota
into D.
Yep.
For the subpar start. That's okay.
Yep.
And then one more into C.
No, I think that's all right.
That's all right. We're slightly skewed high.
That's all right.
We got some high data points, high outliers.
So I don't want this to turn into another like 15-minute conversation.
Yes, you do.
But I'd make the argument for Columbus over Chicago.
No.
Because Columbus has 2 cups, 3 supporter shield, and Chicago has 1 cup, 1 supporter shield.
Fine.
Yeah, I guess I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it, huh?
Yep.
I almost want to drop San Jose down too. But no, I'll leave them at B.
We can drop San Jose if you want.
No, let's leave.
No, yeah, I think we should keep him.
Yeah, high bias, high skew. That's it. That got really, really tough towards the end there. But we hope you enjoyed. If you made it this far, this was cool. I had a good time with this. This was a good idea. This is kind of what we're going to be aiming for throughout the week during our Wednesday posts. We're going to be looking more for kind of these not so much recaps. We'll try and fit recaps in if we can, but we might actually end up doing that more during our live streams throughout the week, simply because these are, I think, a little bit more entertaining and fun personally for us. So we'll get our recaps in during our live streams on Sunday about what games have gone on and what we did. That'll be maybe a halftime segment or something. Excuse me. But if you liked it, make sure you give us a rating or a like wherever you're watching or listening. Go ahead and follow us. All forms of social media. We got us: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, which I've been severely lacking on. I will fix that. Go ahead and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, so you make sure when we post a video or episode. And other than that, let us know what you think. Would you move teams higher? Would Red Bull be the top of the tier? Probably. I know you would. Just make sure you let the other guys know. But no, yeah, I appreciate you guys doing this because it was a lot of fun. Connor, well done. Way to set it up. Anything else you guys want to add?
No.
All righty. Well then, thank you everybody for listening, and we will see you on the next episode of the Designated Players Podcast. See ya.